In a small, peaceful town on Earth, life moved slowly, filled with laughter and joy. Families gathered in the evenings, children played in the streets, and neighbors shared stories over warm meals. Among them was a little girl named Mia, known for her bright smile and playful spirit. Mia loved to chase butterflies in the nearby fields, her laughter echoing like music through the air. But this peace would soon be shattered. The Galactic Empire, a powerful and ruthless force, had set its sights on Earth. They were known for their cruel conquests, leaving destruction in their wake. One day, dark ships blotted out the sun as they descended from the sky, casting an ominous shadow over the town. The people looked up, their hearts pounding with fear. They had heard stories about the Empire, but they never thought they would face such terror themselves. The ships landed with a thundering roar, shaking the ground. Soldiers clad in dark armor emerged, their faces hidden behind cold helmets. They advanced through the streets, their weapons gleaming menacingly. The townspeople froze, realizing that this was not a dream but a nightmare come to life. As the soldiers approached, panic spread like wildfire. Families rushed to their homes, desperately trying to hide from the invaders. Mia, however, did not understand the danger. Curious and fearless, she stepped outside, her small figure standing out against the chaos. She clutched her favorite toy, a bright blue butterfly, hoping to make sense of the confusion around her. But as she wandered away from her home, she found herself face to face with a group of soldiers. They were shouting orders and moving swiftly, but to Mia, they were just strangers. "Mia, come back!" her mother cried out from a distance, her voice filled with terror. But it was too late. The soldiers were upon her, their eyes cold and unfeeling. In a moment of fear and confusion, one soldier made a choice that would change everything. He raised his weapon, and in a heartbeat, the laughter of a child was silenced forever. The town erupted into chaos. People screamed and cried as they realized what had happened. Mia's mother rushed to her side, cradling her lifeless child in her arms, her heart shattered into a million pieces. The sight of the small girl brought tears to the eyes of everyone present. The soldiers, showing no signs of remorse, continued their rampage, leaving destruction and despair in their wake. As the dark ships ascended back into the sky, the people of Earth were left in shock. This wasn't just an attack, it was a declaration of war. The news spread like wildfire across the globe, and the world collectively mourned the loss of a child. Leaders from all nations convened, their faces grim as they faced the reality of the situation. "We cannot let this go unpunished," a general declared, his voice steady but filled with anger. "This is not just about Mia, this is about all of us. The Empire thinks they can come here and destroy our lives without consequences." As discussions unfolded, a fire ignited in the hearts of the leaders. They began to realize that they could no longer stand by. The Galactic Empire had crossed a line, and they would pay for it. Plans were formed to awaken the powerful military forces that had been dormant for years. It was time for humanity to rise, to stand up against the Empire, and to avenge the child who had been taken too soon. The world was united in grief, but from that grief emerged a fierce determination. The Dreadnoughts, long forgotten and hidden in the depths of space, would be called upon once more. The people would no longer be victims, they would become warriors. And as the sun set over the morning town, a new chapter in human history was about to begin. The Galactic Empire would soon learn that killing a child was not just a crime. It was the spark that would ignite a rebellion. In the heart of every person, the memory of Mia would live on, driving them to fight for justice and to protect their future. The tragedy of one child had transformed into a powerful call to arms for all of humanity. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the world was filled with a fierce determination to fight back. Leaders from every corner of the globe gathered in a massive war room, their faces etched with resolve. They had experienced unimaginable loss, and now they were ready to awaken the forgotten power of humanity, the 700,000 dreadnoughts hidden in the depths of space. These colossal warships were the remnants of a time when humanity had the strength to defend itself. The room buzzed with urgency as scientists, engineers, and military strategists worked tirelessly. Maps of the galaxy were spread out on large tables, and plans were drafted with precision. The leaders knew that they needed to act fast. The Galactic Empire would not rest, they would return, and Earth had to be ready. "Let's begin the revival process," a leading scientist said, adjusting his glasses. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled with excitement. "These ships have been in cryo-sleep for decades. We need to get them back online and operational." The engineers hurried to their consoles, fingers flying across keyboards as they initiated the awakening sequence. Each dreadnought was a fortress in itself, armed with powerful weapons and advanced technology. But the most important asset was the human spirit, a spirit that had been ignited by the loss of one innocent child. As the first dreadnought powered up, a low hum filled the air, growing louder as systems activated one by one. Lights flickered to life, and the ship's immense structure began to awaken from its slumber. The engineers cheered, the sound echoing throughout the room. It was a moment of hope, a reminder that humanity was not defeated. Meanwhile, across the globe, citizens were inspired by the news. Social media exploded with messages of support, urging one another to stand together. People began to gather, sharing stories of resilience and courage. They held vigils for Mia and honored her memory, vowing to fight for her and for all those who had suffered at the hands of the Empire. As more dreadnoughts powered up, military personnel began to train for the upcoming battle. Soldiers, pilots, and strategists practiced day and night, honing their skills to operate the massive warships. The air was filled with energy as humanity prepared for war, ready to defend their planet and take back what was theirs. In the war room, a young pilot named Alex stepped forward, his eyes shining with determination. "I want to lead a mission when the time comes. We need to show the Empire that they cannot take our children without facing consequences," he declared. The leaders nodded, impressed by his spirit. "Very well, Alex. You will have your chance," one of the generals replied. "But remember, this will be a fight for all of humanity. We must be united." As the dreadnoughts continued to awaken, the commanders devised a plan to strike back at the Empire. They would first target a nearby Imperial base known for its brutal raids. The attack would serve as a warning to the Empire, a sign that Earth would no longer tolerate their cruelty. Days turned into weeks as the fleet was readied for battle. The engineers worked around the clock, ensuring that every dreadnought was fully operational. They installed new technology, weapons, and defensive systems, all designed to maximize their effectiveness in combat. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as launch day approached. Finally, the day arrived. The dreadnoughts stood tall and powerful, lined up in formation. Their massive structures gleamed under the sun, a sight that filled the hearts of Earth's people with pride. Alex and his fellow pilots took their positions, adrenaline coursing through their veins. As the countdown began, a loud cheer erupted from the ground below. Thousands of people had gathered to witness the moment. The dreadnoughts were not just ships, they were symbols of hope, representing humanity's strength and resilience. With a roar, the dreadnoughts lifted off the ground, soaring into the sky. The sound of engines filled the air, drowning out the cries of the past. This was a new beginning, a chance to reclaim their dignity and avenge the fallen child. As they ascended into space, the crew knew they were ready to face whatever the Galactic Empire would throw at them. United in their mission, humanity was set to unleash its fury. The past had awakened, and with it came a fierce determination to protect their future. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake, and now they would learn the true power of humanity united. As the dreadnoughts soared into the vastness of space, a wave of excitement spread across Earth. People were glued to their screens, watching the mighty warships take flight. The mood shifted from despair to determination, and the world was ready to fight back. The time for revenge had come, and humanity was mobilizing for war. In the war room, plans were being finalized for the first major strike against the Galactic Empire. Generals and strategists gathered around a massive screen that displayed the locations of Imperial bases. Each base was marked, a reminder of the threat they posed. The leaders knew that they had to hit hard and fast to send a clear message. Earth would not be an easy target. "We will begin with the nearest base," General Harris said, his voice strong and confident. "It's known for launching attacks against our civilians. If we destroy it, we will not only weaken the Empire, but also protect our people." The room buzzed with agreement. The leaders knew that they had to act quickly before the Empire could retaliate. They set a launch date for the mission and ordered the mobilization of all available forces. It was time to unite every nation, every resource, and every brave soul ready to stand against the Empire. Across the globe, recruitment centers opened, calling upon anyone willing to fight. Men and women of all ages rushed to enlist. Many had lost loved ones to the Empire's cruelty, and they were filled with a burning desire to protect their homes. Schools and universities organized events to support the troops, raising funds and supplies to aid the war effort. In one small town, a young woman named Sarah stood in line at a recruitment center, her heart pounding with determination. She had always dreamed of flying in a dreadnought, and now was her chance. "I can't stand by while our people suffer," she thought, her mind made up. When her turn came, she stepped forward, filled with resolve. "I want to join the fight," she declared. The recruiter nodded, impressed by her spirit. "Welcome aboard. We need brave souls like you." Meanwhile, in the war room, the commanders worked tirelessly to prepare the dreadnoughts for battle. Engineers continued to fine-tune the ships, ensuring they were equipped with the latest technology and weapons. Training sessions were held every day, where pilots and crews practiced maneuvers and strategies. The dreadnoughts were no longer just ships. They were now a symbol of hope and strength for all humanity. As the launch date approached, the energy on Earth was electric. Families gathered around their screens, sharing stories of bravery and loss. They watched videos of the dreadnoughts in action, showcasing their powerful cannons and advanced combat systems. The message was clear: humanity was ready to stand up for itself. On the day before the launch, a massive rally was held in the capital city. Thousands of people gathered in the streets, waving flags and holding signs that read, "United we stand," and for Mia. The atmosphere was charged with hope and determination. Speeches were made and leaders inspired the crowd, reminding them of the importance of their mission. "This is not just a fight for our survival, it is a fight for our future," shouted a speaker, his voice ringing through the crowd. The people cheered, their spirits lifted. They knew they were part of something bigger, a movement that would shape the destiny of their planet. Finally, the day of the mission arrived. The dreadnoughts were lined up in formation, ready to launch. The pilots took their seats, their hearts racing with anticipation. Sarah and Alex stood side by side, sharing a determined look. They knew the risks, but were ready to face them head-on. As the countdown began, the ground shook with the roar of engines igniting. The dreadnoughts lifted off, cutting through the atmosphere like thunder. They soared into space, leaving behind the planet they loved, now united in purpose. The crew was filled with a sense of pride and determination as they prepared for their first mission against the Galactic Empire. They were not just fighting for revenge, they were fighting for the future of humanity. As the ships flew toward the enemy base, the message echoed in their hearts. They were ready to unleash their strength and show the galaxy that humanity would never back down. This was their moment. The mobilization had begun, and Earth was no longer a victim. It was a force to be reckoned with. The Galactic Empire would soon learn the true meaning of humanity's resolve. The dreadnoughts glided through the vast expanse of space, their engines humming with power. Pilots like Alex and Sarah were focused, their hearts racing with anticipation. Today was the day they would confront the Galactic Empire. The air was thick with tension as they approached the enemy base, a massive structure floating ominously in the darkness. As they neared the base, the view on the screens transformed. The Imperial fortress was surrounded by smaller ships, sleek and deadly. It was clear that the Empire was prepared for an attack. Alex turned to Sarah, his eyes narrowing with determination. "We knew they would be waiting for us. Let's show them what we can do." The mission commander's voice crackled through their headsets. "All units, prepare for engagement. Remember your training. We strike hard and fast." The pilots steeled themselves, ready to unleash the fury of humanity. With a loud roar, the dreadnoughts surged forward, unleashing a barrage of laser fire. The beams cut through the darkness, striking the smaller enemy ships. Explosions lit up the void, illuminating the battle that was about to unfold. Alex piloted his dreadnought with precision, weaving through enemy fire as he targeted an approaching ship. "Engaging!" he shouted, pressing the fire button. The powerful cannons of his dreadnought fired, sending blasts of energy that tore through the enemy vessel. It exploded in a fiery display, sending debris spiraling into space. Sarah cheered over the comms, adrenaline pumping through her veins. "We're not holding back." But the Empire was fierce. They retaliated quickly, returning fire with deadly accuracy. The skies erupted with chaos as dreadnoughts and enemy ships clashed in a dazzling display of combat. Explosions rocked the battlefield, and the once serene silence of space was filled with the sounds of war. The Dreadnoughts fought valiantly, but the enemy was relentless. Sarah found herself in a tight spot as two enemy ships closed in on her. She dodged and weaved, her hands gripping the controls tightly. "Come on, come on!" she urged herself, her heart racing. Just as it seemed they would catch her, Alex swooped in, his ship firing at her pursuers. "Got your back!" he yelled, taking out one of the enemy ships with a precise shot. Sarah breathed a sigh of relief, grateful for her teammates' support. Together, they pushed forward, moving as one through the chaos. As the battle raged on, the Dreadnoughts began to make progress. They targeted the enemy's defenses, slowly weakening the base's hold. Commander Davis, leading the fleet, shouted orders with confidence. "Focus on their shields! We need to break through!" The Dreadnoughts worked together, coordinating their attacks. A sense of unity surged among the pilots. They were not just individuals. They were part of something greater, a force that had risen from the ashes of tragedy. Suddenly, a massive Imperial flagship emerged from behind the base, dwarfing the smaller ships. Its weapons were fully charged, and it opened fire, sending a volley of energy blasts toward the Dreadnoughts. The crew's faces turned pale as they realized the magnitude of the threat. "Everyone, evade! Split up!" Commander Davis commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. The pilots reacted instantly, maneuvering their ships in all directions to avoid the onslaught. Alex gritted his teeth, watching the flagship fire relentlessly. "We need to take it down! It's too powerful," he shouted. "Let's focus our fire," Sarah suggested, determination in her voice. "If we hit it together, we can break through its shields." With renewed resolve, the Dreadnoughts regrouped. They aimed their weapons at the flagship, coordinating their fire to strike at its weak points. Alex and Sarah led the charge, firing their cannons in unison. A brilliant explosion erupted as their combined attack hit home. The flagship shuddered, smoke billowing from its hull. The Dreadnoughts pressed their advantage, firing relentlessly until the flagship began to break apart piece by piece. "Keep going!" Commander Davis urged, his voice echoing in their ears. "We can't let up now!" With one final push, the flagship erupted in flames, a colossal explosion that lit up the dark void of space. The Dreadnoughts erupted in cheers, their spirits soaring as they witnessed their victory. But the battle was far from over. The remaining enemy ships began to retreat, their morale shattered. The Dreadnoughts pressed forward, ready to chase down any surviving threats. As they regrouped, Alex and Sarah exchanged triumphant smiles. They had faced the Empire head-on and emerged victorious, but deep down, they knew this was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire would not back down easily. This clash was just the first of many battles to come, and humanity was prepared to fight. With determination in their hearts, they set their sights on the stars, ready for whatever lay ahead. They were united, and they would not falter. The fight for Earth had only just begun. The battle against the Galactic Empire had changed everything. The Dreadnoughts soared back to Earth, their hulls scarred but their spirits unbroken. The victory against the Empire was not just a military triumph, it was a beacon of hope for all humanity. As the ships entered the atmosphere, cheers erupted from the command center, where families and friends awaited their heroes. News of the Dreadnoughts' success spread like wildfire. Screens in every home displayed images of the battle, showing the bravery of the pilots. The world was united in joy and relief. They had faced a great evil and emerged victorious. But amidst the celebration, the leaders knew this was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire would not take defeat lightly. In the days following their return, Earth was filled with activity. Cities buzzed with excitement as people prepared for the new era. Governments gathered to discuss the future, and the lessons learned from the war were fresh in everyone's minds. Unity became the rallying cry. Countries that had once been rivals joined forces, understanding that together they were stronger. General Harris stood before a crowd of leaders, his voice strong and passionate. "We must use this victory as a foundation for peace. The Empire may be weakened, but they will not be gone forever. We need to be ready for anything." The crowd nodded, understanding the importance of what he said. Across the world, people began to rebuild and innovate. Technology that had once been limited to military use was now being adapted for everyday life. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to improve the Dreadnoughts and create new technologies that could defend Earth. Among them was Sarah, who had quickly become a symbol of hope. Her bravery in the battle inspired many, and she was invited to share her experiences at schools and community events. Young people looked up to her, eager to learn about the courage and strength that had defined their victory. "We are not just soldiers, we are protectors," Sarah often said. "Our duty is to ensure that no one ever suffers the way we have. Together we will build a brighter future." As the world united, they established a new defense council, a body created to ensure that all nations could respond swiftly to any threat. The council's motto became a source of pride: "Together we stand, together we thrive." Meanwhile, Alex continued to fly missions in the Dreadnoughts, his heart filled with purpose. Every time he took off, he remembered the faces of those they had lost. They had fought for freedom, and he would carry that memory with him always. As months passed, Earth transformed. Spaceports became bustling hubs of activity, where dreadnoughts and new ships were launched into the stars. They were no longer just a defense force, they were explorers, ready to uncover the mysteries of the universe. On one bright day, a historic event took place. Earth launched its first mission beyond its own solar system. The dreadnoughts were outfitted not just for war, but for exploration. Alex, Sarah, and their fellow pilots gathered for the mission briefing, excitement palpable in the air. "The mission is to establish contact with any nearby planets," the commander explained. "We will show the galaxy that Earth is not just a world of conflict, but a beacon of cooperation and peace." The pilots exchanged determined glances. They knew they were embarking on a journey that would redefine humanity's place in the cosmos. They were no longer simply defenders. They were ambassadors of a new era. As the dreadnoughts lifted off into the unknown, cheers erupted once more. Families waved goodbye, hearts swelling with pride. The pilots felt the weight of responsibility, but also a sense of hope. They were not alone. They carried the dreams and aspirations of everyone back on Earth. The stars stretched out before them, endless and full of promise. The Galactic Empire had learned that humanity would not be a victim, and now they would show the galaxy that they could be partners in peace. As the dreadnoughts soared through the cosmos, humanity entered a new era, filled with hope, unity, and determination. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, ready to explore the vastness of space, ready to protect their home, and ready to build a future where all could thrive. The fight for Earth had forged a new identity, and humanity was prepared to embrace the challenges that lay ahead. They were united, they were strong, and they were ready to meet whatever the universe had in store for them. A new era had begun, and with it came the promise of a brighter future.